All right. Oh, hey there, Reyes. Okay. I think that we're going to go back. I'm going to duplicate this, separate it, copy it. And we're going to go ahead and open up our baking version of the character here. Oh, Blackjack. It's been a while. How you doing? We're going to go here. So this is the high poly version we were working on. This is the tweaked version. What we're going to do is alter the high poly here and make it fit. Oh. I had baked the vertex colors. Start. Okay, so this one we don't want to be able to select, and basically we want them 1 to 1. Glad you're doing good. I'm going to call this one Gotta be so quiet, everyone. Feel a little tired today. A little subdued. Okay. Hard part, the really tricky part is going to be the hands, because those got deformed and moved around into kind of a weird shape. So we want to maintain the creases on the fingers. We'll do probably cut them off. What we're gonna do. Tab mode. But separate it. Object, set origin to geometry. Should basically be in the middle. You have to scale it down. Best we can. Now we can use a mirror mod, so we're moving both sides of this individual foot together. Wouldn't be able to do that. Oh. Now for here, have a hand. Good. Super useful. One second, y'all. I like her. All right, I'm back. Sorry about that. Had to take a quick call. How you doing, Electrum? What have you been up to? Doing good. Feel like I've understood most of the export/import quirks from Blender to Unreal. Well, that's good. It's amazing how difficult that kind of thing can be sometimes. I've been trying to get assets into Resonite lately, and seems to really prefer things in a certain format, or things don't export. It's kind of weird. Set the origin this object here. Blender set origin to other one wrong checkbox on export and your animations just explode in Unreal. Oh. Hello, Riso. We're doing some sculpting updates to the bake because tweaks were needed. And now we're trying to reintegrate those changes to the sculpt. How you doing, Sam? I got enough permissions going. At the moment, yes. And we're going to be trying to kind of switch over to doing more product-based work moving forward. So we'll kind of see how that goes, but VR is kind of the name of the game right now. Ooh, products. Have some options there. Interesting. Always thought only a fraction of a fraction wants VR. It's all decreasing. You know, profits are not determined by the size of the space you're working in. The size of the pool, you know. So you sell 100 items for $1,000, same as selling 1,000 items for $100. I think that there's going to be quite an audience for D&D and VR, in my opinion. I think it's going to be huge. So yeah, I can bisect. And I do think it's going to be ginormous. I think it's going to be the biggest. I think it's the thing to do in VR, personally. I think, you know, there's so much. I feel like a lot of companies are still like unsure of how to it's moving quite a bit. Do you have commissions for Resident D&D stuff, or is it just a prediction? I think that if I build it, people will come to use it. Not only that, but a lot of those kinds of products can be put into other marketplaces. I think it's a really good point of leverage because pretty much there's always a game that wants fantasy assets. So we're getting there. It's going to take time though, but I'm more interested currently in just actually making a campaign for myself and either chat or some friends and just get people really involved in doing campaigns in Resonite, because it does have just an ungodly amount of potential. I think people are sleeping on it, personally. I'm hoping to be making some big moves in the space soon, because it's going to be big, because it leapfrogs a lot of the problems with other like if I wanted to make, like, there have been countless D&D software, like they're like, we're going to be the perfect solution to D&D, and I not one of them has really ever taken off. Oh, that is fucked up my. Where I turn the symmetry off. Oh. No question, selling assets is always a good idea. Okay. Take it. Symmetry off. Here's off. I'm quite excited about it. Mostly at the start to just do something a bit more engaging than just like working on stream. I'd really love to get people either playing in my sessions or helping me build the sets for the sessions. Or even help playing, because I think what's cool about Resonite and VR is we could get like actors in to help. Like if the DM wanted to run a bandit encounter, and we could get a bunch of people to be bandits, and or like just background NPCs and stuff. And I think that's fun. There's a lot of like RP worlds in VRChat, but they're all kind of more like immersive sims where you're like trying to just like inhabit a world and pretend to be a denizen of it. Nothing wrong with that. But I'm really looking forward to the more focused, singular narrative experiences. Sorry, I do have to run to the room. Alright. Oh. Good. I think we can go ahead and merge these both back into the sculpts. The main sculpt. Any boundary loops. So we hit fill faces with the full fucking. Probably. Yeah. Now that we've fused the new version back, we have to do one more trick, which is turn on the mirror again, bisect it. All right, I'm back, everyone. So, in a second. Thank you, though. I probably will. Yeah, I think that's good. All right, now we have this updated body. We can go ahead and leave this. We're going to update our low poly. Current low poly, 8. Bring in the new one. This one is rigged. Should be good to go. We'll have to update the paw positions. We have to do that with armor. Both. Bumpy. Do another pass with the shrimp. Surface of the sculpt. I wish I had retopology for the sculpt view. That'd be so nice. Excuse me. Apology for sculpting. Yeah, we're redoing a big chunk of work for getting this body sculpt fixed. Hello, welcome back. Okay. Now I've updated the low poly body. Now I need to update the paw position. How'd that work? Editing the retopo without losing the detail of the high poly. Well, once you've baked things, you still have a lot of wiggle room with moving your low poly around. So if you don't need to rebake anything, sometimes that can be a pretty straightforward solution. Like for clothing, for example, if the clothing's like below the body, I can still kind of move things around in order to just position things correctly. But be active. Parent these. But in general, you almost always have to do the full enchilada. If you want to make big changes to the mesh, you really do have to do it. You have to change the high poly. And then change your retopology. So it's just as much of a process as accidentally some other stuff. It's involved. Mirroring with an empty. I feel like I could have used that a couple times, but never thought about it. It's useful. It's my de facto. I pretty much always have one empty in the middle of the scene, and I put it in this hidden folder, and I just turn it off. So it's there, and I can reference it, but I don't have to look at it. The scale good. What was the point of the empty? To center camera or renders. No, the empties are very useful ways for me to mirror things. So in a mirror modifier, you have this mirror object. So right now I have the mirror main. If I turn that back on, you can see how this mirror is set to mirror main. So if I move the mirror, it mirrors those objects around this. That even includes rotation. So extremely useful. So for example, because I want, when I'm working on the foot, especially like paws like these, I want it to be symmetrical. So I like to work around a mirror modifier. Plus it just gives me like, hey, I know that my foot's going to be here. And I do the same for the hand as well, in order to get these beans lined up perfectly. It's just convenient more than anything. All right, looks like everything's in the right spot now. Get a little bit smaller on the here. Data. But I do want them parented once again. Any specific reason for triangulating the pods? Not to put everything in the center of XYZ. Most things I do. But some things I want to make, like for the paw, I can use this axis to mirror the paw locally and then do another mirror, flip it over. So I can have one object that creates 4 instances of paw. As for the triangulation, that is for Substance Painter. So Substance Painter, whether you know it or not, is triangulating your meshes. Which is annoying sometimes. Took me a while to figure that out. So Substance Painter is triangulating your mesh. And in order for your mesh to perfectly line up with the version that you have in Unity, you literally need to triangulate it the same way that Substance Painter is going to triangulate your mesh when you bring your file to Unity. Get more control where it triangulates. Gotcha. Yes. The main artifact of a mismatch and triangulation is all your straight lines that you paint will be wiggly. So any harsh edges will look odd. All right, I think that's good. Give these object constraints. Give it a because I'm lazy. Okay. Now we have one more object we need to do these same changes to, which is the ear. Thankfully, this one will be a little bit simpler. Because it's the low poly. Drop it in there. Ears. Duplicate these, send these to the high poly. High poly. Simply. All right. That way the positioning is perfect. I don't have to worry about anything. We're ready to rebake now. High poly, everything should be good to go. Low poly spot, let's ensure that everything does have material. Paws are in the right spot, and then as well, make sure it triangulates on. This places. High poly. We're not seeing any spots. It's to display. Okay. Now that that's done, and re-export the high poly. Gotta go already. Enjoyed my break here, like always. Thank you, Electro. Enjoy your day. Enjoy your week. I'll be here all week, but thanks for coming by. Hope you're having a good one. Getting a gap on that paw right there. That should be happening on both the high and low poly. That should be good. Once again, export high. Really looking forward to having better export collection settings because this would save me forward. All right, beans look good. It looks like everything baked pretty good. The only thing that really needs cleaning up is the ear here. Makes sense. Loading around. Considering just starting. Come on. About there. And this paint there is just to get rid of all this other stuff. Color for me to see. Nice shadow on the texture with small extra colors. I'm not good enough for that yet. I can just use dirty vertex and shader geometry node for pointiness. That's pretty much what's going on here, but just the substance painter version of it. All right. So let's export these textures. Then we're going to go back here to our main file. And we're going to make sure we have all the correct materials applied. And we're going to, and then make it rigged. Export it. None of these we can buy. All right, so now we have just body. There's no other collection now. Reference images, we can formers, even delete these. Just have this in the scene. Okay. Now we can export. Boom. All right, updated body, updated textures. A little crunchy right there. Updated that. We just sent the textures in. So we're getting a little bit of crunchiness right in the mouth corner. I did actually change the mesh, so we'll need one more copy. Body transfer, that, select the body, separate it from everything else, and on here, just delete it in a second. We'll go back to the baking version. We're going to copy this, save. First, let's make sure. And we are getting some. Missing. Oh, I see. The retopology is throwing me. Loop. A loop. All right, first things first. Update the low poly again. Page again. Go back. Mesh. Normals could probably use with a bit of updating. But overall, it's going to look. I don't need to do for this instance. Beautiful. Oh, it's raining. Okay. Now, we're basically done with the cat modeling and edits, all that jazz. So, what do we need to do next? Oh, but I still need to get this version over to slightly different. Not super different, but different. Beautiful. A little bit of now let's look at the guy. The guy. Copy all this. 14 body rig. Now we're looking at this guy. Before we do that, open up. Hiccups! Alright, we'll copy the body. Actually remove any animation right now. Copy. Go over to human. I think all the baking stuff is still set up right now. I haven't done any rigging. Should make it a little bit simpler to incorporate. Change it. Paste. Like all the tweaks are in the fields. Should be a rather easy change. We should be able to take our current body, add a shrink wrap, anything. Put it on. Overall, the changes are pretty minimal. Good. It's gonna be a lot easier. All right, we applied those changes here. Now we can turn off the low poly body. Go to the high poly. This one I should be able to turn on wire on this one. Sculpt. Step around. Hopefully this is okay. This should bake nicely. I can just delete that. Okay. Look at the low poly. Turn on the displacement. Adjust the weights. Make sure everything fits. I don't really think that's going to change the bake very much. I'm going to leave it alone for right now. But should I need to rebake them, that's good to go. I'll call this final baked version. So I have to adjust the hair as well. Get my hair system in. Delete that. We're going to call these hair curves. New collection. It's called. Object, which we'll call hair. We'll make plain. Then we'll take our curves. We'll go to curve settings. Already been meshed. Go back up. Did I? Okay, in the bracelet one, they are curves. They're already close enough in the position, so we'll copy it, save it. Delete those. Do you do LP and HP for the hair as well, though? Or would it suffice with just low poly for this type of stylized version? Depends on what you're going for. I think that you don't need a high poly version of your hair necessarily if you're using and you can just rely on using good textures. But I like to make it so they have a good ambient occlusion bake. And that's the main reason for doing it, because then it gives it a lot of realism when the ambient occlusion's influencing the other strands. And you can't really get that maybe through some vertex colors, something like that. All right, now we're going to add a geo node. We're going to file, append, go up over to Blender. our node tree. Do that. Hello, Arctic. Welcome. Not mirrored. Mirrored. Profile poly. Beautiful. How you doing, Arctic? Not bad, just popping by for a bit before I go eat. Get that rub on. Hello, Namers. Welcome. Welcome, everyone. It's going well, Namers. How about yourself? What are you up to? Inspo image though? Oh yeah. A good one. That just depends on the nature of the revision and time. It's all contextual for the most part, but generally, yes, I do include. I expect there to be revisions. Missed about the project during the weekend. Not sure if you got to see it. I'll take a look. I was kind of absentee this weekend. I hate that this happens in Bezier curves. Really sharp edges right here. I only want that for the high poly though. That's gonna have to live with it for right now. Level up. Oh, then village construction been going. Sorry, you're putting entire central squares together with nodes. That's insanity. Oh. Yeah, I've been really enjoying messing around with nodes lately. I feel like they're gonna be 99% of my workflow soon, especially for environments. Just a pain in the ass to model a whole building or village by hand. You're pretty much forced to learn procedural proc generation. Right now, I'm kind of stuck, or I was stuck on trying to figure out how to take a curve and unwrap it properly in a procedural way. That was stumping me. But I think I found a good solution. Kind of want to experiment around with a little bit more. I mean, even right now, I'd love to actually get these kind of unwrapping themselves a bit nicer, even in this case. Just so I can make changes to hair. You know, if I didn't have to unwrap them by hand, and I automatically had a high and low poly. I mean, I'm looking at taking it used to be like an hour, multiple hours, like a 4 to 6 hour thing. Probably make hours. I mean, ideally. In an ideal world. Are you building it in Blender? Because how do those curves translate into Resonate? All the curves in geometry nodes, when you create a profile for a curve, like you have a shape, like just now, right now, this is a curve with a profile. Technically, this is now geometry. This is no longer a curve. Blender lets you work with it like a curve, but the shell that's here, this is geometry. So, and you can see it if you go to wireframe. I got a wireframe. This is the literal geometry. I could switch to the low poly, but that's what it is after a start. So when I'm importing into Resonate, there's no special objects. It's all geometry. I'm hoping but Resonate does have Bezier curves. There is some sort of curve system. I don't need it for what I'm doing at the moment. I don't need it yet. Probably be super useful for like camera rigs. Like if you wanted to film something. I'm thinking more of that at some point. Yeah, I'm building my sets in Blender because I can work fastest in Blender. I do think there will be certain benefits that can be had by working in Resonite. And I think about those more with like working with a team. One thing I think you could do in Resonite quite easily is get like a team of 20 people together and just freaking make a whole town really easily, especially if you have good tools for it. And one of the really cool things about Resonite is you can export from Resonite. So if we spent some time and we made a world together, we can actually export that back out, bring it back into Blender. So even if I did want to still work in Blender, we could build out a world in Resonite, use it as a rough draft, bring it into Blender, do the final pass, all relatively easily. What about building a modular set and creating the bases inside Resonite though? So we've done that, and that's also very, very useful. For battle maps, especially for battle maps, it's perfect. I think if I'm with what I'm imagining, like wanting to create a story, wanting to create really interesting places, I could try to make a tile set every time, and I may still, but I think geometry nodes will be the faster option. I mean, you could even think about it as like, even if I was using tiles, creating a system to place those tiles with geometry nodes would still probably be faster. All right, time for food. Have a nice rest of your day. Same to you, Arctic. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks for coming by. Hope you're having a good Monday. Start of the week, everyone. We're making it through. I'll probably actually switch to working on the geometry node stuff in just a little bit. Gonna probably end the avatar work at 5. We'll switch over to geometry node stuff and call it a day. $3,000, $4,000 for the hair. That is perfect. That's some optimized hair. Sure. Monday is fun day though. I'm definitely feeling like it's a Monday today. Not gonna lie. Nice hair. Thank you, Kevlon. Welcome. That's some crunchy hair that HP is gonna carry. Hair is just one of those things that it is very easy for it to be the most expensive part of the character. So I'm really enjoying this geometry node system. It gives me a lot of control while still giving me flexibility. In fact, we are going to get into some GeoNode stuff for this, because I can unwrap it and unwrap the hair, which is awesome. I'm actually going to disable being able to unwrap the high poly hair. I don't need to unwrap it for the most part. But what I'd really like no kidding, since I started it this way, it's getting lower and lower in try count, but oh my god, it's nearly as expensive as the rest. Same confirmation over on Discord. Gotcha. So, there must be a better way to unwrap these. What annoys me about the geometry node wrapping method is you use the curves in a similar way. You can profile the curve, but it doesn't automatically create a UV map for you. You still have to do the UV map manually, which is annoying. So what we need to do, I'm going to switch over to working on some GeoNode stuff right now. What we need to do is we need a function where we can take the UV square. Let's see, UV square. And We want the curve profile. Terrible, but there we go. Actually, we want the factor. Actually, we want the curve factor and the profile. Those are the two things. Okay. Okay, so we'll take curve factor. And this is actually pretty easy because the curve factor goes this way. Profile factor goes this way. Yeah, that's easy. Okay, so that's basically what we want to do. We want to take a curve. Do this in a test scene. Let's curve. And in here we'll make a Bezier curve. We'll make profile. Plane. Let's test HP. Add it. Our curve manager. Curve not mirror. Profile. And we can unwrap, and you can see why we want to figure this out because it's still busted. That's because we're actually doing it. Giving the factor of the result, we're storing it. We really need to do trans if it equals 0. But it's still close to being. did something very similar in my factor. This is a Boolean value. We actually want to transfer it as a float. Okay. The mistake was how we were capturing it. I'm not used to this new code yet. Certainly less expensive than them. All right. So now what we want to do is, instead of doing this, great. Our North Star right here. Instead of doing this, that's great. The UV unwrap is great, but it's not the most useful way to do it for curve. I want what Blender offers by default, but for its normal curves. Not doing that here. So what we're going to do is we will store that named attribute. A 2D vector named UV. And this requires position data. Consolidate this. Call this capture curve factor. This, I just want the actual factor value. You don't need to store it either. Okay, perfect. So we basically want to take over where we turn this into. This is the point where we come in. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take our mesh and we're going to split the edge. And we want to split it along our selection here, our factor. So we'll say compare equals, really could be 0 or 1. It's actually the same point. But now we've taken that. Can I just say delete for a second, just to do a better visualization. Mesh. Oh, okay. We are cutting right along that profile 0. Very good stuff. So when we split it, that's what we're doing. We're putting the cut right there. Hard to see, but it's there. That's what a little easier to see in this view. Now what we want to do is set the position. And the position is really just vector. So we create a new vector, which is do that now. XYZ. And the first one that is Y. Here it says X. This is our slice. Slice it, reset the position. Be a mesh now. Do position per point. Have an instance? Oh, what the? I'm surprised I didn't notice that split was a totally different group. Here we go. Now we have split. It's still an instance. Work to mesh equal to realize the instances here. I'd rather do that way here. I just wouldn't want to be working with settle. Going there. Okay, so I just have to read it. There we go. Okay. Now we're setting the position. Hello, Oro. What do these geonodes do differently than using normal curves for hair? Unfortunately, these geonodes do a little bit less than normal curves do for hair. So normal curves, when you run loft or give it a profile, when you unwrap it, or when you mesh it, it's already unwrapped. Geonodes doesn't do that for you. So I'm trying to make that system. But hello, Aura. Welcome, welcome. How's it going? It's going well. It's going well. We're figuring out some interesting stuff, some interesting things. Stuff and things. Some sort of visual artifact. Everything's in the right position. Is that a square though? Should be 0 to 1. It seems like it's filling up the full square. Getting the factor of both, which should be, factor should be a value of 0 to 1. So let's take a look at that. On the vertex of position, not save. A little hard to visualize, so let's store it instead. So I closer. So we'll take these. Maybe I will store them separately. So instead of capture, we'll do store named attribute. This will be the value, and we'll call this curve factor. Here, thing, call it profile factor. So we capture it as it comes in, and we mesh it. Float of profile factor, if it equals 0, we can split the edge. We split this edge. Graphs and tables, ooh! Yeah. We're making a very useful hair system, which I'll probably sell, by the way. But first we have to get through making it. Hopefully it will be easier as time goes. So profile, I believe, should be the y-axis, and curve should be this. Set the position like so. That almost works. Almost works. For some reason, don't get a profile factor of 1. That's what's going on. We get a curve factor of 1, but on the profile factor, I think when we split it, that breaks it somehow. So we have to be a little bit more, we have to update our profile factor. We have to, after we split it, we basically have to go, okay, that's not interesting. So it's never ever, well, because I can't view it because realize instances thing. Okay, these do have to go. I just can't actually see what's going on. Okay, here we go. Profile factor. Never ever reaches 1. What I'm worried about is that it actually doesn't seem to ever get kind of close. Is there perhaps a different value we could use? What if we did length instead? Actually, why don't we store this on the no face corners to store it on yet. We can only do that after we've meshed it. Okay. Okay, this is silly, but it should work. Let's say I capture an attribute. I specifically want the factor, and then I want to store this attribute over here. We'll call this factor test, and we're passing this factor over. Most importantly, after we split. Points factor test, does this reach 1? Just I think we are right to just give it the factor, simple and normalized, useful. We actually will want the curve length though. Want to store that. And these should all be stored in points. Okay. Here's what we can do. Can we just normalize that value? Yeah, we can just map it to a range, right? Range. So, whatever the max value is, let's be this. Left to right's working fine. X is fine. Okay, so now, then, go ahead and store named attribute we need. Which is the position data here. Save it, face corners. Delete it. How do I transfer it again? There's a way to transfer between geometries. Now we store it. Take our UV value. We don't need to set the position. This is the value right there. And then we can go back. Beautiful. Almost there. It's almost really good. Definitely having some issues. That is so much better. Okay. I think got something good. What our issue is so what I'd want to do for both of them, really, right here, when we're wrapping around, I have my list of curve factor, curve length, all that jazz, blah, blah, blah. Wouldn't really change it. Just too many of them are 0 at some. For now I'm using map range. I think. Oh, that's perfect. So good. Because what we're missing the issue is when we split. That's right where we do see the issue. The issue is that when we first start, this loop, this circle is 0 to 1, like this. But this point is both 0 and 1. So when we split it, it defaults to 0 and it works properly on this side. But we lose the 1 value on this side. So, that being said, we know we can get at least half of them, right? Because at the start, we can say delete geometry. Split edge. Delete the geometry. That is not this selection. Now that's half of them. Now on one side, the next nearest neighbor is going to have a value let's be more specific. Have this little, we imagine it as a square. We have 0, we have 1. now we're selecting both sides. But only one side has neighbors that are like 0.8, or these neighbors are like 0.1. They have neighbors next to them that are hopefully what if I just blurred it? I just blur the attribute and then map it back. Take the profile, blur that attribute, and then map it so close. Cylinder. Place it on one side, I unfold it. It's two edges. I don't know which is which. Can't really know. So just set it to same issue. And looking at this, what's interesting is that this range of values, these ones here, right here, are all flipped. But that is actually a super interesting issue because these ones aren't flipped at all. And just for that segment, it means they do have some increase in range, but they're going, but that should let me isolate.